So, good morning, students. So, in the last class, I told you about introduction to bioavailability. With this, I told you about study design, bioavailability study design. So, in this, I told you two types of parameters we are evaluating: absolute and relative bioavailability. With this, today we'll discuss about some other parameters, other designs. So, it is generally when we are going to start the bioavailability study, we need to take different types of volunteers. So without human volunteers, we cannot perform the bioavailability studies. So for that, we need to take different types of parameters, different types of dose. First thing is whether we are going for the single dose studies or multiple dose studies. Single dose studies means after administration of the single dose, we have to collect the sample and we have to evaluate from that data. In case of multiple dose studies, we have to give this dose in different time intervals and we have to collect the samples to get the data, to get the readings of the bioavailability studies. So it is whether we have to take a single dose or a multiple dose. If we are taking a single dose, we need to take in different sampling parameters, in different sampling intervals we have to take. If you are taking a multiple dose study, you have to take a different type of dosing parameters. So it is generally it is performed in single dose studies. If you are going for single dose, it is a preference that after taking a single dose, if you will take the bioavailability study, it is easier. It won't correlate. It will not coincidence with each other. If you are taking a multiple dose study, then we have to maintain the dosing interval of the drug so that we can take it easily, and also the sampling period also, sampling time also will be more. So it is generally if you are taking a multiple dose studies, we have to take the sample up to 5 to 6 elimination biological half-life so that we'll get the correct reading. So with this, now we'll discuss about whether we have to take a human volunteer or we have to take a patient. Generally, we need to take a human volunteers, but whether it's a healthy patient, healthy person, or patient, that we have to consider. Generally, it is a prospect that if we take a patient, then the patient will be benefited from that particular studies because drug need to be administered on that particular person. From that we will find the efficiency. But with this, when we are giving to a patient, patient may have different other we can tell drawbacks, and when we are giving to the patient, patient may have some kidney problem or liver problem. So in that, or different types of rate of absorption. So in these cases, what will happen? We will not get proper reading of that. Proper data will not get from the patient. So always we are preferring a healthy volunteer of a correct age 20 to 40 years, and the weight also should be optimum. It is not have obese patient or it is not underweight patient. We need to take proper weight of the patient. That type of volunteers we have to take for the studies, bioavailability studies. So this, let us now going to the main part of this measurement of bioavailability. So in this measurement of bioavailability, there are different types of methods there. One is pharmacokinetic method, another one pharmacodynamic method. Pharmacokinetic method also we are calling as indirect method, and pharmacodynamic method we are calling it as direct method. So in the pharmacokinetic method, two types of parameters we are taking: plasma level time profile and urinary excretion data. With this, in this pharmacodynamic method, two types of also process there, methods there. One is acute pharmacological response, then your therapeutic response. So with this, let us go for the deep inside of these parameters. Let us discuss first one, pharmacokinetic method. So in the pharmacokinetic method, the first one, plasma level time studies. In this, if we are going to study, we have to collect the sample. After administering the dose, you have to collect the sample, blood sample, and from that we have to see what is the plasma drug concentration of drugs. With this, if we are going for single dose study, then we have to collect the sample for 2 to 3 biological half lives. 2 to 3 biological half lives we have to collect the sample. If we are going for IV dose, then the process of sampling should start within 5 minutes of administration. That means after giving IV dose, immediately within 5 minutes we have to take the first sample. Then in every 15 minutes we have to take the sample. Then coming to multiple dose studies, in this minimum we have to take 5 to 6 data up to 5 to 6 biological half-lives we have to collect the sample, so that we will get the correct study in the multiple dose study. So after getting all these things, the three parameters we need to evaluate. What are the three parameters? One is Cmax, Tmax, AUC. What is Cmax? Cmax means peak plasma concentration, as I told you. That means the maximum drug concentration in plasma, Cmax. And the Cmax will increase when we increase the dose. Then coming to Tmax, it is peak time. That indicates the highest, the time at which the drug reaches the peak plasma concentration. Then coming to AUC, area under curve, area under plasma level time curve. So when we are preparing the plasma level time curve, whatever the area, so that is a direct relation to the bioavailability term, AUC, area under curve. So now for that, two formulas we are using to find out the extent of bioavailability. First one, for the single dose, there is a formula, F is equal to AUC divided by AUC oral, then D IV divided by AUC IV D oral. So in this, we are taking area under curve of the oral with dose of IV, then area under curve IV into dose oral. That ratio we are taking to find out F. F means what? Absolute bioavailability. Then coming to relative bioavailability, we are going for relative bioavailability, we are going for test and standard. We are comparing with a standard. So that is known as FR. So it is that we can find out AUC test into dose of the standard, AUC standard into D test. Then coming to, if it is a multiple dose, what will happen? Relative bioavailability we can calculate AUC test into dose test, dose standard into tau test. Tau means here your dosing interval. As you are taking a multiple dose studies, then we should know the interval of the dose. In which time interval we are giving the dose. What is the difference between the two doses? That is your dosing interval. So that we can calculate for multiple dose studies. There is a different formula. We have to add only dosing interval in that. Like that we can find out the bioavailability term. So it is like that. Urinary excretion studies also, we have to find out three parameters: dxu dt max, du max, xu infinite. dxu dt max means maximum urinary excretion rate, maximum urinary excretion rate. Tu max means the time of maximum excretion rate, and xu infinite, which is a correlation with a area under curve. So that is your cumulative amount of drug excreted in the urine. Cumulative amount of drug excreted in the urine. That is also related to area under curve. But generally, when we are going for urinary excretion study, it is easiest method to collect urinary excretion data. But for all drugs we cannot take it. So there is a minimum criteria that the drug predominantly in unchanged form should be excreted in the urine. Minimum amount of 20% of the drug should be excreted in the urine. That means the unchanged drug should be excreted up to 20% in the urine. And we are not considering the metabolic products because so many factors there like fast metabolism, um, so many other factors that we cannot take the metabolites of the drug to calculate the concentration. We are only calculating the free drug or unchanged drug in the urine. So it is for that there is a formula. If we can calculate XU infinite oral into D IV, XU infinite IV into D oral. So this is similar type to plasma level time profile formula. So from this we can calculate, and with this also we can calculate at steady state. Steady state means when the concentration in plasma is maintained. So at that particular steady state concentration we can find out the uh, bioavailability term. So in the urinary excretion data also we can also calculate by using steady state. So that formula also remains same, XU into SS, XU SS test T standard tau test divided by XU SS. SS means at steady state, D means test, tau means your we can take standard. So it is from this formula we can calculate easily the bioavailability term. So it is these are the indirect methods. Now in the pharmacodynamic method, direct method is also there. When these two methods are not possible due to some causes, pharmacokinetic parameters is not possible. In that cases, we are going for pharmacodynamic method, which is direct method. So in this acute pharmacological response, acute pharmacological response means when we are giving the drug, we'll see some changes in the body. We'll see changes in the ECG. We'll see the changes in pupil diameter, pupil movement. So this type of data we are collecting and we are making a curve, pharmacological response time curve, and from that we are calculating the area under curve. So that is acute pharmacological response. Then coming to therapeutic response, that means how much therapeutically drug is effective. But it's a very difficult process to know how much drug is effective for a particular disease. So that's why from this therapeutic response method, it is very tedious method. How the drug is effective for a particular disease, that we are evaluating. We are not seeing any pharmacological response for the drug. We are finding therapeutic response. Is it effective for a particular disease? How much it is effective? Because it is very difficult to find out how much after a single dose the drug, very less amount of drugs they are giving therapeutic response or curing a disease. So in a one dose or two doses we cannot get a therapeutic response. So that's why it's a very difficult method, therapeutic response method. So these are the methods to measure the bioavailability of drugs. So other things we will discuss in the next class.